So some final thoughts now as the world's richest and most powerful nation finds itself at another political crossroads, the midterm elections. With me are the radio commentator Armstrong Williams and also Sky's own White House analyst John Christopher Beale. Welcome to you both. Now, Armstrong, you were never a great fan of Barack Obama.
Well, I voted for him.
Yeah.
So I think that's enough.
But, I mean, do you think he's blown it?
If he's what?
Blown it.
Blown it up.
No, well, blown it, just...
He's just blown it up. Listen, the president obviously has not made the transition from running a campaign to running the White House. He surrounded himself by a bunch of public sector people and other people from the private sector. His arrogance has led him to believe that he knows what's best for the American people. And even though the American people did not want, they wanted health care, but not the kind of health care that the president has put forth. And so the Republicans found that the president had holes in his armor. It started with Guantanamo Bay, where the president failed to live up to his promise that nobody talks about today. And then it continued with health care. And now the president's problem is not the conservative base. Let's be clear on that. His problem is that his own base, the left-wing liberals and the liberals, have abandoned him. They wanted a public option. They wanted more about don't ask, don't tell. They feel the president has failed them. If you go back and look at when he was on MTV and BET, and most recently on Jon Stewart, when Jon Stewart could refer to him as dude, it just shows you that the president, he was not the transformation person that he wanted, and he's going to pay a great price for it at the polls on Tuesday.
So does that mean what really we should expect big changes in the administration?
Well, I think the big changes you're going to see is you're going to see big changes after November 2nd. I think you're going to see changes in what exactly the Tea Party will do as they affect the Republicans in the Senate and in the House. Because remember, the Tea Party is basically, if you excuse the pun, holding the bag right here. They are very forceful. They are in some ways scary. And in fact, they are some ways scary, so scary to the Democrats, they may come out and vote just to make sure that the Tea Party people who are really at the extreme of the liberal agenda, and they may come out en masse. That's the element, Armstrong and Adam, that we don't know. Who will be out there? Who is getting the vote out? And what will it look like the day after?
I don't think the Tea Party is extreme at all. I think when you look at what is happening to Greece and the pigs in Europe, and you realize that a nation can go bankrupt, the United States is the 100-pound gorilla in the room, that this could actually happen to them. The Tea Party came about as a result of health care and the fear that this country would go bankrupt, that we're too dependent on big oil. I think the Tea Party, the fact that it remains leaderless is what makes it powerful. It represents the fears of the American people. That's why the American people embrace it.
But on the other hand, if it doesn't get those senators elected in Nevada and Delaware and elsewhere, they're going to look like a liability rather than
not at all. They can't win. They can't win it all.
They're already looking like a liability, I have to say. In states like Delaware with Christine O'Donnell, there is the Fiorina race in California, Tea Party back, basically. The problem with this is what my good friend Armstrong is not saying is the very conservative social agenda that the Tea Party people are putting forth. And it really frightens the centrist Republicans who are fiscally conservative, but not terribly socially conservative.
Okay, so you voted for him last time. Will you get your vote in 2012?
I can't imagine it, but I'm not going to close the door.
You, Armstrong.
I can tell. That's why I never hear from him. Listen, let me just say to every party have their extremists, whether it's Republican or Democratic. And the Tea Party is still finding itself. There are extremists in the party, but for the most part, most Americans can identify with the Tea Party. And remember this, what happened in the Washington Post. They did a poll. Most Americans said they're willing to vote for a Republican candidate now based on what they've seen from this president, even if the candidate appears to be too extreme. It is Obama that has caused this fear. The very thing that got him elected, they feared McCain, they feared where the country was going. They decided to give him a chance. He has failed their expectations. This is about the president, not about the Tea Party.
This is about the president, although in races like Kentucky, it's about Rand Paul, who is also an extremist. Okay. So it's about the president. It's also about individual candidates, and that will foster who actually comes out. And the fact is, the Tea Party is an element. The Tea Party is the element of what's next. Basically, in the candidate, that famous movie with Robert Redford, they sat there, they won, and they go, and now what? I'd be interested to see exactly, what the Tea Party will say the day after.
Thank you both very much indeed. And over on Capitol Hill, they're just starting testing of the emergency warning system. I'm not quite sure they're going to need that on Tuesday, but I can say that JC will be joining us along with many other people as Jeremy Thompson, Andrew Wilson and I cover these midterm elections, special programming starting on Live at 5 and then the results programme on Tuesday evening. Please join us for that. But for now, from Washington, a very good day.